Everybody, hope you're alright. Just listening to the marvel that is Nigel speak live up in the northeast. It's amazing just seeing the crowds that Nigel is pulling, and again, just never needing notes, just speaking from the heart. It really resonates with people. There's none of this standing behind a lectern reading off an auto cue like a droid or a suit at a Unilever conference. Nigel is one of us, and that's why people love him. And you know, he's speaking for a very long time, and the things that get the largest round of applause and cheers and the rouse and energy from the crowd are, one, our kids and what they're taught in schools, and the liberal ideology and the anti-British and the woke. People hate it. They really despise it. That gets a huge round of applause when he says he's against that, and bringing back being proud of Britain, and helping kids become more critical thinking again, and helping debate and, you know, learn how to disagree with good grace and listen to both sides of the story. Massive. The left do not do that. They continually act like spoilt, petulant, bullish children. 2, immigration. Net immigration. Huge round of applause. Again, nothing to do with your race. It's all to do with the numbers, demand and supply, economies of scale, the country working with the population explosion it has experienced. Number 3, getting rid of net zero. Huge round of applause. Again, it's just common sense, using our own gas and oil supplies, you know, having those big industries, supporting those that work in those industries, creating our own steel, not shipping it off to India or whoever, China, and then buying it at great expense and shipping it to us at great environmental expense. Makes 0 sense. That's the only thing about net zero, 0 sense. Having some small nuclear reactors, again, makes complete sense. More jobs, clean energy you can rely on. Just have a small one here and there, produced at high standard. Makes complete sense. Nigel touched on it, but I think he still has a lot to learn in terms of how net zero, I mean, yes, he wants to ban it, but he still didn't really touch on how. I don't think he understands to what extent net zero is a weapon against the West, and how there is zero climate crisis. He said the UK is responsible for 1% of the world's CO2. It's not. The UK is responsible for 1% of the 3% of which man is responsible, of the 0.04% of which CO2 makes up of our atmosphere. It is tiny. But he gets how insane it is to close our oil reserves, our gas, our steelworks, and make us completely dependent, completely vulnerable, and often relying on countries that we would see as our adversaries. Just literally insane. So those are the 3: our kids, immigration, net zero. And they're all just common sense. It's all policies that people, just normal people, normal Brits, that want a country that works, and a country that is cohesive, and a country that is proud and has strong young people that we can rely on in years to come. It's not rocket science. It's common sense. And that is something severely lacking in our main political parties at the minute. In fact, on a dark night one winter, many moons ago, and after a bottle of red, I wrote a manifesto for what I called the C Sense Party. C standing for common sense, C Sense. And there are so many policies I could go on about. But again, it's just common sense. Nothing's difficult. Give me any problem we're facing, I could give you a very simple solution. But as I said, Nigel really hit home there, particularly with those 3 policies. That's what matters to people. It's time to bring common sense back to Britain.